was a day like any other. I sat in my sad little closet I call studio, making a simple video on a piece of literary work. I decided in my stone from the dainty of daily life state mind to use a clip that I thought encapsulated my thoughts on a character. I thought it was funny in my mind, so there it went, and I went about my day. Oh, she found out that I used it. Probably didn't help either that I clipped it in an Instagram post. Well, hopefully she'll accept my apology.
It's not enough. But maybe if you added more apologies.
Like a montage of them?
We're sorry.
I'm so sorry.
Oh, sorry. I'm sorry.
I've made so many mistakes. Oh, no.
This is what I planned on doing as my intro for my next video, as you just watched, but little did I know that something much more insidious that any content creator fears was on the horizon.
What? Why? 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 Why?
Fuck you, that's why!
So many of you may be wondering, who the hell are you and why should I care? To which I say, okay, fair point. A couple of years ago I started a channel where I focused on covering any media that relates to a particular genre from Japan, either known as Keikomi or Bara for the Western markets, called the Lingua Manga Podcast. If you have never heard of it, well, I'm not all that surprised honestly, as I'm not a marketing major. I'm just a guy who likes to make videos, and this is a subject matter I like to talk about. I'm also somebody who just sucks at social media, and willing to admit it. After all, I am a human being. Anyways, back to the topic at hand. So why did I lose my channel? Well, there are three possible reasons I have speculated on that I'm going to break down for you. But let's clear some things up real quick. Firstly, this is the only email I got from them about this situation. So no warnings, no strikes, nothing. Secondly, I did submit my appeal through the same email that was sent, but anyone knows how it goes for a lot of small channels using this appeal process. So the next question must be, what do I think was the real reason why I lost my channel? Well, let's examine the chain of events that happened. So I did the clip thing, the videos went private, and then my channel was removed. I never got any contact from that creator, or any claims on my channel in that regard. I've seen many other YouTubers clip stuff from other creators all the time, so I thought it was innocent fun as a one-time use. I took the video privating as a pretty clear message from her, and I apologize for that.
I mean you no harm, so please don't come at me.
I like her content, that's pretty much it. As I don't watch her on Twitch, I don't see anything from her Instagram account, but I hardly use that app as it is. So is it possible that her fan base attacked me for it? Maybe. But I don't take this creator as that type of person, nor am I accusing her of doing so. Does this mean that some of her fan base took it upon themselves to do it? Possible, but there's no evidence, so it's all speculation that has crossed my mind before. So take this all with a grain of salt, meaning do not accuse them without proof.
Oh, let's not leap the thing doing. Right, Annie?
I also want to point out that there was a 3-week gap between these two events, so it makes me think that this was much less likely the cause. The second thing I thought about, after some consultation with some of my viewers quickly suggested, that it was a mass spam reporting from internet bigots in order to take down a queer creator. Okay, look. I know to some people who may think it's that simple to say bigotry and expect all of your problems to get solved by blaming that.
That's not how it works.
Yes, I know for a fact that there are some people out there who are genuinely prejudiced towards people like myself. But I'm also raised by someone with over 20 years of law experience, so I tend to lean on having proof of that if I'm going to make a claim that it was. For fuck's sakes, I was in the United States Army when Don't Ask, Don't Tell was in place and when that got repealed, and trust me, that was not a fun time to be in. I also believe that if it was these people, I don't think they would have stopped at my channel. I think they would have gone further with my other platforms and got them too. So I can't prove, nor deny this, but I can't make any judgments on hidden information either. So again, I am left in speculation. The third possibility came to me as I sat in my limbo state of digital existence, working through some of the worst depression episodes I've had in years. This started when I reflected on the charge, and it was the last one that they mentioned that started to stick out to me. If you look at my post history for my episodes, you can tell that I have inconsistent posting. That's because I can only give so much time to work on these, so I fit it in whenever I get the chance. I wish I could devote more time to it. However, I can't pay the bills on this stuff. Could I get there eventually? Who knows, but I work with what I have and what I can invest in, for the meantime at least.
And I'm doing my best. I'm just doing my best. Just doing my best.
I can also tell you that me giving my thoughts and opinions on pieces of media isn't a scam, as it's just me putting my thoughts out into the void that we call the internet. Many people do it as a hobby, and I'm not doing anything that is different from them, except in subject matter. I barely do calls for action on my channel as it is, except for the usual stuff that people say on their respective channels. I only ask to do a one-time donation if any viewer feels like doing it, and not commit to a monthly payment subscription, especially now with money being really tight for many people with the rising cost of living. So, this leads me to the last point on the charge, the commercially deceptive misleading content. It shouldn't be hard for anyone to look around where they live, see all the different walks of life in your neighborhood markets, your co-workers at your job, even the long-distance friends and family on the internet. And the first thought being, something doesn't seem right.
I know that, dip switch. I can see that.
I shouldn't have to say anything on it for anyone to see that we're living through some pretty difficult times right now. And even a social outcast like me can see the storm clouds brewing. What do I mean by social outcast? I'm like Treebeard along with the other Treeans and as being rejected or seen as irrelevant by the rest of the world. Literally. Nerd! Not wanting to bore you with my life stories, I've always been in the position on being on the outside looking in.
I'm more of a fast-blinking, stoic, removed, uncomfortably self-aware type.
I was the kid who liked the less popular thing at the time. Pokemon? Nah, I was into Digimon. Harry Potter? Nope, Lord of the Rings for me. I know some people are going to say, Lord of the Rings has been around for decades when that came out. Which that is true. But the Peter Jackson's trilogy were coming out at the same time as the Harry Potter movies are coming out. And those were more popular in my peer group than Lord of the Rings was. Hence less popular at the time. Mostly because we were the kids in elementary school when the Harry Potter books were coming out. The big 3 trading card games? I was getting into chaotic. You see the pattern here?
Interesting.
Don't even get me started on all the cult classics I like. So seeing how things have been in recent times from my perspective has been disturbing for lack of a better phrase, and I'm sure many people are disturbed by it as well. From the abusive relationship, pop culture, mass media, entertainment, and even social media constantly being on the attack with the very audience they have, to the minefield war zone that is our political landscape that has saturated every platform imaginable, it's starting to feel almost inescapable. I don't know about you, but I'm at the point where I just want to grab every activist on every political side, look them straight in the eye, and say,
all you do is scam, lie to try to get what you want. Ain't you tired? Ain't you tired?
So where does this tie in with what happened with my channel? Well, something that's very noticeable now is a curation of content by the dominant culture that certainly feels familiar to things I learned in history class. Many bigger content creators, even ones with millions upon millions of subscribers, have made videos on the state of this platform and the same problems that smaller channels are dealing with. I can't help but start seeing parallels of groups of people with a strong political and or ideological messages going around stamping out any opposition in any form that those messages deem as such, slowly coercing the population into submission for personal gains, while also seeing many people of said population being in a fevered dream of denial in favor of blissful ignorant compliance. Now, it shouldn't be any surprise that what I touched on in my openings are things that I see in ads on TV, here on this very platform of YouTube, and on ads that you see on the sides of any website you go on. I touch on these because I'm sure many of my viewers have either heard or seen these things being showered all over them, and they come to my place on the internet like they're getting out of the rain. So it's like having that icebreaker like, wow, what is up with this climate? Now, if you read through the guideline details where it feels like I'm reading stereo instructions in a different language that is not of this earth, you can tell that it's pretty vague on what they consider deceptive or misleading. And usually ambiguity favors the defendant, but I guess not on the internet.
Hold up, wait a minute, something ain't right.
So, did I break anything within this guideline? I don't think so, and a lot of the members on my Discord server don't think so. But I can see them saying that I was in some obscured way by referring to the guidelines as gospel. Oh look, another pragmatic group of people I can reference.
Enough already, you can stop.
So, I was left with nothing. My life works just vanished in front of me. I was on track on getting to a big milestone of 1,000 subscribers. I felt like many of the comments I was getting were positive. People would message me to thank me for covering this topic as no one else was doing it. And now it's as if it never really happened. It got worse for me after a lead someone gave me had an exchange with me that made me yeet right out. I've been scammed before, and so I'm very hesitant on asking people to help recover some sensitive personal information, and that whole thing gave me red flags. So I felt defeated, destroyed, and decimated. What could I do? Who could I turn to that would help a very small channel like mine? And is it even worth doing this in the first place if I could just be erased from the internet without due process that's fair? Silenced, as the kids would say.
Peter, yeah, fuck Peter, boom. Peter is sitting halfway around the world eating a steak, and the second you hit that button, he just turns to vapor. The fort falls, ding, 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 ding. The person sitting across from him is like, Peter!
I needed time away from everything in order to process this. So I went to an event being hosted in Los Angeles that was about one of my other hobbies that I haven't done in years. I was able to escape from my troubles for 2 days and had some strong revelations that could only happen by live social interaction and not over screens on the internet. This, coupled with the amount of response that people shared with me on various platforms, I felt validated on what I do as a content creator on YouTube with covering subjects that lack people really covering it. Of course, upon my return, then I get my answer from YouTube, and apparently all I had to do was wait 30 days.
What's the lesson here? I always want to make sure I know what the lesson is.
What did I learn from this entire experience that I went through over the past couple months? I'm not sure. And I don't know what lesson you're going to be taking away from this, because I don't know how else to explain this entire situation besides a corporation has the ability to remove you and put you back on their platform without having to explain anything, and somehow you're supposed to just go along with it. Interesting how some things only work in one direction and we're expected to think that's fair.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is.
I should probably say this now before anyone tries to claim me as trying to, but I am not trying to be an influencer, or whatever people call it, because I would never give myself or anyone that kind of power. I'm someone who says that people should do the necessary research and make up their own minds from the facts. So, I try to show what I learned when I look into things and not tell people how they should look at it. But I'm kind of disturbed by some of these influences and the messagings that they're putting out, unintentional or not. Coupled with the messaging that the entertainment industry is pumping out, I'm concerned what the younger generations are learning from these people. Like, it's okay to keep rich people in systems that oppresses them by having duties thrusted upon them to oppress others, as long as you take their money to make your oppressed life less miserable, instead of finding a way to end the system's oppressions altogether. Or like rejecting the system makes you powerless by giving up a voice within it, when the system already dismissed and ignored your voice you supposedly had in the first place. Or even that you must forget the past and destroy any trace of it when it's the most important thing for us to learn about our own humanity. You see how disturbing this is?
Yes, definitely!
So when it comes to presenting my thoughts, I ultimately leave it up to each individual that watches my content to make up their own mind on the subject matter that I cover within the works that I review. If you like what I have to say, great! You disagree with what I have to say? That's great too! As long as you form your own opinion, I don't care!
I care.
I will certainly say though that this entire experience had made me think a lot about a lot of things I do with my content, and maybe I have to do some changes just in case. So the first change I'm going to do is I'm going to try to use YouTube editor to remove that clip that I talked about earlier, just as reparations to that creator. I would also like to give that creator a opportunity to clear their name from in private, because, you know, I don't want to accuse you, and I would rather give you this opportunity to clear your name, as any good respecting citizen of this planet would do.
Well, thank you.
Secondly, I guess I will refrain from pointing out reality so specifically, because apparently doing so gets you in trouble, because I guess a lot of people don't like that at all now, do they? The other thing is, well, is I'm considering other possibilities and other avenues, because the idea that I can be removed and have all my work just removed from me without any explanation is a terrifying prospect as a small creator like myself, and I don't want to have that happen again, essentially. At this point, I guess I'll just reach out to the audience itself and ask them for their input, because I'm just a small creator, and like I said, I don't have any degrees in marketing or anything of that nature, so any tips would be helpful. I know a lot of people have suggested to me to make a second channel, which is something I'm strongly considering, but there is another idea I had in mind as well, since now I got my channel back, is considering changing the name of my channel, because I guess the Lingua Manga podcast is misleading, possibly, because, you know, it's a play off the lingua franca, but it's manga, you know, so I wanted to make a new name as a way to show my growth, but couldn't think of one that was clever or eye-catching with the word Bara in it, so I'm just gonna go with my name, Mutton Chop, the Bara guy. My Discord members said that most people would recognize me with that name, and I can't help but agree with them. After all, I am the Mutton Chop guy. My chops are my trademark. I also made a new opening to be really short, either for this channel or the next channel. I just kind of want to get you guys' input. Do you guys like the previous name of the Lingua Manga podcast? But if you like the last one, let me know, and I will bring it back with an update.
Okay.
Now, the second channel that I'm considering making, I have been suggested by some of my members in my Discord server that this could be a place for me to make content that's outside of the Bara manga genre tidbit that I've propagated here on this channel, which I'm totally fine with, but at the same time, it's like, what would you guys want to hear from me if it's not about this? You know? So I would just love to hear you guys' inputs. I would like to hear what people would like to say, ideas that you guys would suggest to me. In terms of other platforms, yeah, I've heard of one called Rumble vaguely. I haven't really looked into it, something I would probably consider. Or if you have another platform you guys think I should consider, let me know, because that is on the table right now, considering that it's, like I said, it is a terrifying prospect that a corporation can just take everything away from you and not really have to explain themselves. Yeah. Now, I know many people will tune out at this point, but please give me a chance to ask this. I know it's commonplace to hear the usual shills of calls to action when it comes to interaction from the audience, and there have been videos made to help explain why that is. But like I said, I'm not a marketing major, and going to college to get that before I can do this sounds ridiculous. Yes, I had someone tell me that I must have all these different degrees in order to make YouTube videos or I will never succeed. I know, crazy. So, I am asking for your help to share my videos on any platform you think that it would help people who are looking for videos about the works I cover. Gay manga is relatively unknown to many people in the West, and are often tricked into thinking that yaoi/BL is something for them when it isn't. Now, it doesn't mean that they can't read yaoi, but they need to know that gay manga made by gay men exists, and I want to share that with them. I know many people are going to ask the questions, don't you have a Twitter? Why don't you use Twitter? Why not TikTok? Okay, I have never used Twitter, and I don't ever plan on doing so. I know some people will tell me that it's the best place to grow an audience and that it reaches so many people, but I do not condone the addictive, manipulative, abusive, and most inhumane behavior that Twitter fosters. I already kicked an addictive habit of cigarette smoking after 10 years, and I don't want to be taken by a new one. Plus, the majority of the people who essentially live on that platform have the most warped perception on reality that it frightens and disturbs me, because it's repeating the worst parts of history that they're gaslighting you to forget.
Shut the F up, you homophobic bitches. Oh my god. Shut the f up and delete your account, you dumb bitch. Yes, kill him. Brother in Christ, imagine being this dumb. LOL, dumb flirt. LOL, you dumb. Shut up. It's always been dipshit.
Aren't these lovely people? Look at the progressives go. The second someone just said something is, do we have to make it political? The slurs, the cursing, the wishing the person dead.
Along with the whole debacle with Elon Musk and Twitter really showed me that this isn't a safe platform to be on, regardless of how you feel about the guy. And TikTok is Twitter in video format that targets and preys upon children, which is not the audience I want watching my content. But I also don't want a foreign country collecting data on me if they're not going to show me what they're doing with it. Hence why I turned off all the permissions to things like my microphone, my camera, and my files.
You can do that.
Now I know some people are going to say that not using these platforms are going to handicap my growth on the channel. And to that I say, good! I would rather have genuine growth than the artificial growth that those platforms create, because many people on those platforms hate scribe. Which is just said that people are consuming things for the purpose of hate rather than enjoyment. Like, how is that healthy for anyone to do? And if you're someone who uses Twitter or TikTok and doesn't participate in that toxic behavior by avoiding it like the plague, congrats, you're one of the very few who can.
Congratulations! Whee!
However, I would appreciate if you shared my content on there, but I understand if you don't. If you're wondering which platforms I use to spread my content out there, I use Instagram, Tumblr, Reddit, and Discord, along with Anchor for audio only, but that distributes my content elsewhere, but that's beside the point. I don't use Facebook because it's probably not suited for my content, but you can share it on there too if you feel like it. And that's it.
Okay, let's get this show on the road. Cricket, get the bags. Let's move it, Heifer.
To wrap things up, I'm just going to say at this point in time, thank you to everybody who has shown support, shown my expressed their condolences to me, and really gave me the emotional support and encouragement from the lovely worded messages that I got from people. I truly cannot express how humbling it is that people just appreciate that there's somebody out there trying this. Even if I am not the best content creator on the planet, I can certainly tell you I still look at my videos, even the ones that I make currently, and still think they're pure amateur trash. But I know a lot of people enjoy it, and I'm okay with that. To me, the whole video making thing is a learning process. I literally have no experience making videos, except for the year or so that I have been making videos. So I can't stress enough how much I think and appreciate and adore that people out there just appreciate the work that I'm trying to do. I'm not the type of person who wants to go out there and just try to make a big followers and tell people what they need to think of. I just like talking about this stuff, and I would like to hear from people who also enjoy talking about this stuff, because that's what I like to do. I just like to have conversations. It's fun. I will quickly apologize for the delay on making this video, because while making this video I also had to move into a new home, so Yep, quickly apologizing for that.
I'm sorry.
So I'm not going to try to shill you again on, you know, liking, sharing, and subscribing my content and stuff like that. You guys already know I'm asking you on your help on that. But, you know, if you also want to donate to my Ko-Fi, you also have that opportunity as well. I'm not telling you that you should. It just, if you do, it would help me out a whole lot. You know, I would like to get to a point where I can actually do this full time and make content for people who really want this, because I do remember seeing comments saying please make your videos faster, and it's kind of hard for me when I'm literally the only person, you know, one-man army, as most people call it. So but yep, thank you guys so much. I certainly hope I see you guys in my next video. Everybody's just amazing. Thank you so much for the support that anyone shares of my content. Like I can't stress enough how much I appreciate it. So without further ado, I am your host, Peter, aka the Mutton Chop Guy, signing off. I'll see you guys all down in the comments below.